Question number 1 asks us to find the slope of the line perpendicular to the given line. So we have to do two things. The first thing is we have to find the slope of the given line. And then if we want to find the slope perpendicular to the given line, we take the original slope and calculate its opposite reciprocal. So for example, if the slope of the line was 2/3, the opposite reciprocal, or the slope perpendicular to that, would be to flip the fraction, 3/2, and then take the opposite sign. And so this is a positive 2/3, we're looking for a negative 3/2. So the slope of this line is going to be calculated doing rise over run. So we just find a point that's on the coordinates to another point that lies on a coordinate. So we can start from the origin 0, 0 and count up 1 over 1. So the slope of this line is 1 over 1, which if we take the opposite reciprocal to find its perpendicular, so the opposite sign of positive 1 over 1 would be a negative 1 over 1. And if you flip for the reciprocal of 1 over 1, it would still be 1 over 1. And then if we reduce negative 1 over 1, we get negative 1. So the slope perpendicular is negative 1. Number 2, we want to find the coordinates of the midpoint of GH. So G is negative 3 and H is 2. The midpoint of coordinates can be found by taking the two coordinates and adding them together and then dividing them by 2. So you're basically finding the average of the two values. So we take the two values given, negative 3 and positive 2, and we add them together and divide by 2. So negative 3 plus 2 is a negative 1 divided by 2. And in the context of this question, the answer choices are given as decimals. So we want to represent negative 1/2 as a decimal, which is negative 0.5. Number 3. Find the measures of two supplementary angles M and N if the measure of angle M is 6x plus 3 and the measure of angle N is 2x minus 7. Well, the definition of supplementary is a pair of angles whose sum is equal to 180 degrees. So here's our pair of angles, M and N, and M is 6x plus 3, so we add that to N, which is 2x minus 7. And their sum will equal 180 degrees. Our first step would be to combine our like terms, 6x and 2x, which is 8x, and combine our 3 and our negative 7, which is negative 4. That'll equal 180. We would add 4 to both sides of our equation. So we get 8x equals 184. We would divide both sides by 8. So we get x is 23. Now they don't want the value of x, they want the measures of the supplementary angles. So we're going to substitute our x back into each side of the equation, or to each equation. 6 times 23 plus 3. 6 times 23 is 138 plus 3 is 141. So angle M is 141. Angle N is 2 times x, which was 23, minus 7. 2 times 23 is 46. Subtract 7 is 39. So our angle measures are 39 and 141. Number 4. The polygon shown, well, you name a polygon by the number of sides that it has. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, which makes it a pentagon. Now, since we don't have any markings on this picture, if these all sides were marked congruent, then it would be a regular pentagon. Number 5, it says find PQ. Well, remember, if they give you two capital letters, that means find the distance. So we would use the distance formula, which is the square root of x minus x squared plus y minus y squared. Now it says to round to the nearest tenth. So after we substitute our values in for x and y, then we will make sure that we round to the nearest tenths. The first value in the coordinate is our x value, and the second value is our y value. So we take the square root of x minus x, or 2 minus our other x, which is -4, and square it. Add that to y minus y, which is 7 minus 2. 7 minus 2, and we'll square that. 2 minus a -4 is like saying 2 taking away a debt of 4. So to take away a debt is to add. So 2 plus 4 is 6, and we're going to square that. 7 minus 2 is 5, and we'll square that. 6 squared is 36. 5 squared is 25. And then we take the sum of 36 and 25 and we find the square root of that. So we get 61. And to find the square root of 61, we get 7.81024, on and on and on. And we want the nearest tenths place. So we use this first digit here after the decimal. So we get a 7.8.